adding, subtracting, and multiplying complex number. The first, I have 6 problems right here. They are pretty straightforward. So the first problem is a minus 3i, and then you add that to another complex number, 5 minus 6i. So this is a plus. I will just remove the parenthesis first, a minus 3i, and then we are going to add 5 minus 6i. So you have a plus 5 equals to 13. And then negative 8 minus negative 6 is equals to negative 9i. That's it. So that is the answer to the first problem. Let me switch to a new color for every problem. The next one, let's do negative 10 minus 2i parenthesis minus 3 plus I. So this is a minus. When you remove the parenthesis, you have to change the second sign. So this is a minus 3 and then minus I. If you are wondering why, because you have to distribute this minus to the 3 and to the I. So that's why that becomes a minus I. When you factor out a negative 1, you get this back. Negative 10 minus 3, also negative 13. So negative 13, negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So you have a negative 13 minus 3i. All right, moving on to the next problem. So the next problem, let's do the 1 plus root 18, shall we? So let's do the 1 plus. So we are going to do the 1 plus square root of negative 18, and then minus 5 plus 6, and then root 2i. Okay, it's a minus. Let's remove the parentheses. In the meantime, the negative 18, I will put that as the square root of negative 1 times 18. And then minus 5 and minus 6 times square root of 2i. You distribute this minus to the 5 and to the plus 6. So that's why you have a minus 5 and a minus 6. All right, so the 18 is equals to what? 18 is equals to 2 times 9, right? So this one, you can modify this a little bit so you don't have to start a new line. So the way I do it is negative 1 and then 2 and then 9. So that gives you 18, right? And then the square root of 9 is equals to 3. So you have a 1 plus 3. Also, you have a square root of 2, and then the square root of negative 1 is equals to I. And then minus 5, minus 6, and then root 2i. 1 minus 5 is equals to negative 4. And then you have 3 copies of root 2. You minus 6 copies of root 2. Then you have minus 3 copies of root 2. And then don't forget the I. That is the answer to the third problem. And then moving on, we have multiplication. So multiply, multiply, multiply. Okay, so let's switch to a new color. You have 4 minus 2i, and then you have multiply 3 plus 5i. Okay, so the first step is you distribute 4 times 3, and then a 4 times 5i. So you have a 12, and then plus 20i, and then you have a 2 times a 3, and then also I should say negative 2. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 2 times 5 is equals to negative 10. And then now I times I is I square, right? So what is I square? Remember that the square root of negative 1 is equals to I. Should we do this in red? Let's just do this in red. This is a square. So the square root of negative 1 is equals to I. When you square both sides, you have an I square. Then this is equals to negative 1. All right. And then 12. This is just a 12, right? So this is a 12. Negative 20 minus 6 is positive 14. And then negative 10 times negative 1. So you have a negative 10 times negative 1. That means you have a 12 plus 10, which is equals to 22. And then plus 14i. There you have it. That's the second one. And then the third one, you have a 1 plus. What color should I use? Let's use orange. You have a 1 plus root 5i. And then multiply 3 minus root 2i. Okay. 1 times 3. 1 times root 2. So you have a 3. And then minus root 2i. Okay. 5 times that, and then 5 times that. So you have plus 3 times root 5i, and then root 5 times root 2. So minus root, plus minus, you get a minus. Root 5, root 2, and then you have a I square. Okay, what's next? 3 minus 2 minus 2 minus 5i. I don't think that one can be simplified, so just leave that as it is. And then this is a root 10, and then I square is equals to negative 1, so you are adding, you have so this is equals to negative 1, so that is equals to negative 1, and then negative 1 and then minus, you have a plus, right? You have a plus root 10. So therefore, when you put this in standard form, I will just do a 3 plus root 10. So this is your A, and then you plus, I will factor out the I, and then just do a minus root 2, and then plus 3 root 5. So this is like A plus BI, which is the standard form of a complex number, right? Let's box that, and then we do the last one. Box that, makes it look good, and then we do the last one. The last one, let's do it in red. So we have 3 plus 2i, and then we have 3 minus 2i. All right, 3 times 3, 3 times minus 2, you have a 9 minus a 6i, and then you have a 2 times 3, 2 times negative 2, you have a plus 6i, and then minus 4i squared, which is equals to, what is that equal to? We have this, the minus 6 and the plus 6 got cancelled, and then this is equals to negative 1, right? And then this is equals to negative 1, and then you have a 9 plus 4, which is equals to 13. Now, this one, when you multiply those two complex numbers, the answer is a real number. Do you know why? When you multiply, because for the previous two problem, you have an I. Do you see this? This one you have a 14i, this one you have an I, but this one has no I. Do you know why? The answer is, this is a 3 plus 2i, and then the other one is 3 minus 2i. So you have a 3 and a 2i, but when you look at the sign, they are the opposite, 1 plus 1 minus. That means we are saying that the minus is a conjugate of the plus is a conjugate of the minus. So they are the conjugate of each other. When you multiply the conjugate, the answer is a real number. Conjugate means the signs are opposite. So regarding conjugate, complex conjugate, we will discuss that in the next video. So if you like the way I explain everything in this video, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will meet you all in the next lesson. Take care.